Hi, welcome back. I'm Jen. I'm a conscious parenting coach, and I work with queer, non-monogamous, and neurodivergent families to find the joy in parenting outside the box. And today, Caroline and I are back to talk about the logistical realities of being a non-monogamous parent. One of the things that we both see frequently is someone has opened up their relationship. Maybe they're dating some new people, and they're still trying to, do their job, parent, be with the parent they opened up with, have time for that relationship, maybe pursue some other hobbies and other things as well, and it just becomes overwhelming. And then we see people who are in burnout because they've got one partner asking for more time and there just is no more time. So Caroline, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you approach this?
Sure. So I'm Caroline Lee. I'm a licensed therapist in the state of Colorado, and I work with the ethically non-monogamous community all the time. I'm specialized in sex therapy as well as trauma therapy within my private practice, and I'm also an independent researcher and currently have research on the hinge role in polyamory. So one of the things I'll often do with clients when we're confronting this piece of opening up a relationship is I'll actually talk to them about the reality of time. So realistically, we have only so many hours in a day, so many days in a week, so many weeks in a month. And so sometimes it can be really helpful, particularly on the front end when we're opening up the relationship, we're doing all the questions, we're really trying to navigate how this is going to look. It can be really helpful to sit down with the monthly calendar and actually block out time that has to go to work, time that has to go to like kids' activities. Maybe you have kids that are in sports or something, right? Blocking out that time. Also recognizing like blocking out time for the dyad itself, right? That's trying to navigate opening up this relationship. So blocking out time for them and then really looking at realistically what time is left. Because I think particularly for parents, the responsibility of parenting and showing up for your kids and all the things that come with that, that can take up a lot of time. And so sometimes like sitting down and looking at the reality of the time available can be really eye-opening and helpful for people to understand how much time they actually have to devote to other partnerships.
Yes, absolutely. And it's also really important in that to make sure that all of that time is not just going to other people. Other people
Yeah.
meaning your boss or your clients or your kids or your partner that you're opening with or your new partners, but that
Yeah.
you are a bucket of time, that you are
Yes.
reserving time for yourself and whatever nourishes you, whether that's hobbies or friends or time completely alone,
Mhm.
that you are making sure that time is included too, because that time can get eaten up with new
Yeah.
partnerships, especially when the new partnership is exciting or the new partner wants to see you all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a big component, particularly in the beginning of those early relationships, right? It can feel so exciting. And maybe even the partner isn't asking for more time from you, but you're just wanting more time with that partner. And so that excitement can sort of motivate to go towards this other partner. And maybe you lose sight of yourself in that process. So it is
Yeah.
important to make sure that, you're keeping yourself in mind in those buckets.
Yeah. And most of us, especially those of us who were socialized as women, we have learned thoroughly to put ourselves last.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the more, when you add more people that come before you, it
Yeah.
only gets harder. It only gets harder to
Yes.
make time for yourself unless you flip that order and put yourself at the top
Mhm.
of that list and make sure that you are being nourished and pouring from an overflowing cup instead of from an empty.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Totally. I
Yeah.
mean, are there any things in particular that you recommend to your clients or to your podcast community?
So one of the things that I really encourage people to look at is similarly with time blocking, but making sure that some of that time is labeled joy or self-care
Mm.
or
Hmm.
something like that. But another piece of this is that the more you have that awareness of where your time and energy is going, the more you can make a conscious choice. Because maybe you do
Okay.
actually want to see a new partner more,
Hmm.
or maybe you realize that you've been neglecting a hobby and you want to fit it in more. And the more you have awareness and consciousness of where your time and energy is going, the more you can look at that and say, what am I willing to give up to make the time for this thing?
Yeah.
And there's no
Oh
right
yeah.
or wrong answer about that. It allows you to bring your reality into alignment with what's important to you and with your values when you
Hmm.
know where it's going.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's a huge piece of it, right? Especially this idea of like aligning the time to your values.
Yeah. And I also
Mhm.
just want to offer one piece because we were talking to parents that for people who feel like, wow, well, if I do that, then I'm going to see a partner maybe once a month. And that might be the reality in some seasons of parenting,
Mhm.
especially if you have young
Yeah.
kids. And that doesn't mean that you can't have a fulfilling open relationship
Hmm.
if you are realistic with yourself and the people you meet about what you can offer. And also that it's a season. Your kids will grow, and there will be seasons in which there is more time for the things that you're interested in exploring.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I think recognizing how much parenting evolves over time because of the development of our kids as they age, as they grow, as they become more independent and they rely on us less and less, you know, that shifts the entire dynamic that we have within the family unit as well as with our own calendar.
Yeah. So a couple of the practical things that I see people do, because one of the things that can happen is, and we'll talk more about the dynamics that this can happen between the dyad that's opening, but in terms of like the calendar logistics, sometimes I see where when people were monogamous, it was just family time or couple time all the time, and so then when they open up, it's like they open the calendar to dates. But
Hmm.
then if only one person is dating or one person is dating a lot more, the other person is not getting any time off of parenting.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I really encourage people to do when they're looking at the time they have available is to not just look at this is the time I have available for dates. Like do that for yourself. Think about
Hmm.
the time that you're not parenting, how much of that time do you want to be dating versus doing other things that nurture you? But as
Hmm.
a dyad, looking at how much time do each of us want to have off of parenting?
Yeah.
And then you can do what you want with that time. Some of that time could be dating, but if you're not dating or if you don't want it to all be dating, then that could be time that you pursue a hobby or time that you spend doing something on your own or with your friends. And that helps it feel like both parents are getting to experience something outside of parenting.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's crucial for parents just across the board, right? Regardless of the relationship dynamic. But I think in particular, when we open our relationships and we bring in more people, that understanding of what can fit into time and keeping that, like some of that space that's not just wholly devoted to parenting or wholly devoted to dating. I think that becomes incredibly crucial just for like overall well-being.
Absolutely. It
Hmm.
has to be the foundation, has to be the
Yeah.
foundation from which we navigate our lives.
Hmm. Yeah. Very
All
true.
right. Thanks, Caroline.
Sure thing.